contracts, especially not ploughing contracts. Ploughing contracts are just long and plough widths tend to be limited. Cultivating contracts are kind of okay, but there's no bonus pay. It's just go out there and drive around the field for a bit and then be done. If you're desperate for money, it's good income. So map like, what did we do? We did Ungutsheim for a year, and I did 50 contracts on that in 1 year. And that's not a bad deal. And I was doing all the contracts just because they didn't pay particularly well, but they did, it was a constant source of income. These contracts do pay quite well, I will admit. To less than half the front tank of fertilizer, so we are going to need to pick up more, but as I said, I didn't see the point going to the store, grabbing a pallet of fertilizer, using part of it, and then still having to go back to the store and get the rest of it. Could buy 2 pallets, because that'll give us a tank and a half. Or, a full load plus 50%. So we'll have some to take back to the yard with us. And we're not that far from the store right now. 349. I do like this little tractor. Honestly, I can't remember what we had before this. I usually go with something like the little Massey Ferguson 5600. But, those of you frequent viewers probably know we had a hard drive crash, which destroyed our previous save game, so I lost a lot of mods, some of which are no longer available because the websites they were loaded on have gone away. And I did have a full set of Valtras, so we did have a Valtra T on the farm, and in the reset I think I replaced the Valtra T with a Case IH Puma, whatever our case is, and we kept a Valtra using the G here for our light field work tractor. It's always good to have a light tractor just for tasks like this. You can put narrow tires on it. It's fairly efficient. Fairly efficient to run. I'm going to need to fill up with fuel soon, and doesn't cost much to maintain. So it's a good little tractor to do small jobs. I'm putting a sprayer like this on the back of, say, oops, let's just run over here and just dump the final 2 litres. There we go. Putting a sprayer like this on the Class is completely ridiculous. Plus, you can't put narrow tyres on the Class, so you're damaging the crop, and it's complete overkill. I suppose I could go faster. And sometimes I use this tractor to top the sugar beets and potatoes, because it's small, it's efficient, it's got a good turn radius, so it gets the job done even with a worker quite quickly. But our main field jobs are all going to be the big tractors. Just because of the size of the equipment we're generally using. We're not using the huge stuff. We're not in millennial farmer equipment world, but yeah, we definitely need 350, 380 horsepower to use a lot of our biggest equipment, so we keep 2 of those on the farm, and then I've got a couple of lighter pieces, smaller pieces, for when you don't need the biggest thing. And the JCB and the case can handle those quite well. Okay, so I will buy 2 tanks of fertilizer. We'll fill up completely, and then we'll go back to the store and top off once the contract's done. We'll collect all the other equipment down at Oakfield Farm, or Oak Glen Farm, and we'll take everything back to the yard, because that was that was a thing. Might have to do a look up on YouTube and see someone doing a miscanthus contract and see how well they get on. Fertilizer tank. Because I was considering for our corn at the end of the year, I was thinking getting something like that. You only need a small tractor. It doesn't have the greatest of working widths, but it gets the job done. Our cornfields won't be that big. Get out there. Pull forward a bit. Stop. Okay, that's 2,000. So 2,900. So there's still 1,100 left in that tank. I don't think we're going to need the 2,900 to finish this contract. But that will leave us with a load of fertilizer just in case when we get back to the yard. Okay, are you guys going my way? The concrete truck did. Well. We'll take it easy down to Oak Glen. So I understand for Farm Sim 22 the map traffic is gonna be a bit faster, may even be a little bit more intelligent. That will be something to behold. I know some of the farms, some of the latter maps have some very fast traffic. Part of the problem with fast traffic is they don't look ahead any further, so they don't try and stop until they're right on you, at which point that can be a little bit of a problem. Yeah, I can't see where I'm going from outside the cab, and that's a problem with spring and summer. Okay, looks like the road opens up here. So Okay, back to here. Unfold and go. So this should have us cover the entire top half of the field, so round about where those trees jut out, we'll just have this end of the field left to do. Need to figure out how to increase the font size on there. So yeah, my work PC failed this week, and it's the PC I use on the weekends just to monitor Twitch. So everything's wrong. Font sizes are wrong. The various settings are wrong. I had to do a complete keyboard remapping for client access application I use. Because you get used to, I've been programming business systems for years. So I started out on dumb terminals, and client access kind of, it changes the keyboard mapping on some of the keys that you got used to on a dumb terminal but aren't quite so applicable on a PC. But I still prefer the functionality of some of the keys on the dumb terminal. I've gone away from enter being on the bottom row next, to the right of, to the furthest right from the spacebar, and field exit being where you usually see an enter key on a PC. So I managed to switch those, but some of the other functions like backspace and what have you, and I think end defaults to erase from this point to the end of the field, and I prefer end to be jump to the last character I've typed in on this field. So where you've tabbed back to make a correction, you then press end and it erases everything else you typed, so you end up with, that was just annoying. So remapping, and then I have different color settings depending on which system I'm accessing. So I can, looking at the screen, if it's blue, it's the production system. If it's black background, it's the test system. So I easily know I'm about to change data on the file. Am I about to do this in production, or am I going to do it on the test system? Because production people tend to get a little bit upset when you mess with their data accidentally. All right. Kind of messing this angle up a little. As I said, I think we're pretty close to closing off this end of the field from the other end, so what I'm going to do is finish this top portion. And we don't have to so far to drive when we're finished. Turn off. Thank you. All the power cables. Of course, we're getting new graphics for 22 as well, that look 3D even if they're not actually 3D. Hopefully my PC will be able to run that level of graphic setting for the most part. Most of the games I play, I'm playing on ultra levels of graphics. But then also most of the games, I don't want to pull that up, surprisingly enough. Most of the games I play are a fair few years old, so 75% done. That's okay. It's not surprising I can play them in ultra settings. Okay. I'll keep following the left side. For some reason I find that a little bit easier than following the right side. So we need to get down to, I'm thinking, less than 1800 litres, probably less than 1700 litres. And then we've got enough room to take the rest of the tank down at the store. I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think we're going to use way more than 330 litres to finish this job. But anyway, sound? Yeah, we do have sound. That's good. A couple of weeks ago, before the stream, I had to reset the PC a whole bunch of times and it didn't reboot the sound card. So I ended up playing with no in-game sound. Now, I don't have the sound turned up too high, so I couldn't necessarily hear that the sound was missing, but I then had Mrs. Osa had a call, so I had to shut the microphone off, and the stream ended up being 30 minutes of absolute silence with tractors moving around stealthily doing tractoring things. So usually a good idea to make sure that the volume or the game sound is working. Okay, I'll do it that way. There we go. Oh, there. Don't think we've got too much more to go now. 87? I don't know. We've only done 12%. I think that included part of the top. So, I mean, the way it's looking, we probably do the entirety of, up and back down to that corner behind us, and we'll be done. I hope. And yeah, we're below 1700 litres, so we've got enough there. Well, we've got enough capacity to take the rest of the fertiliser that we have at the store for us. And then we have the worker convoy. See if that works out, or whether we get all messed up. I'll drive the harvester back, because I think that's the piece of equipment outside of actual harvesting that workers do have a problem with. If you're doing a follow me, they just not happy bunnies. Okay, how are we doing now? 94, so 6% left. So potentially that's one pass to the bottom. We will be done. Yay. Get paid. What are we looking at? I think this one was about 22,000, so we'll be up to 43,000. Not quite as good as the miscanthus might have been, but Certainly better than nothing. Well, I suppose we're at 6 mid-spring, so 7. So actually tomorrow might be the day that wool is a good thing to sell. And we start selling sheep as well. How are we doing here? Yeah. Let's take a look at that. That wool. Wool. Oh, actually, wool is peaking right about now, and sheep's are. What do we have? Dorsets peaking right about now. So this is a good time to sell sheeps and wool. So we might start looking into that for the next session. How are we doing? 99%. So maybe somewhere down here. If I'm really unlucky, I'm going to have to turn around and go back up the field. Come on. If I'm really unlucky, I have to go back up the field. Yep. I'll go. Come on. Contract on field 32 is complete. I'm not even spraying anything, but okay. I'll take that cash. So harvesting we have again miscanthus and miscanthus, and they're not going to give me any equipment that works for that. Okay, so farm income is about to improve greatly as we start selling sheep and wool. The wool's going to be a pain. Yeah, I believe there's a semi-trailer, a flatbed semi-trailer that's auto-load wool pallets. So what I might do is download that mod, load it into the game, and then sell our wool pallets using that semi-trailer. Just because we already did the load 32 pallets onto a flatbed, and oh, that was painful. So 43,000. I'm probably going to lease a cattle truck. Because our little animal trailer only transports 12 sheep, and that's going to be a pain because we've got possibly somewhere in the region of 250 sheep to sell this year. And transporting them 12 at a time all the way the length of the map is just going to be it's for oh, because I fast winded. I screwed up today. I lost most of the day because the ground was wet, and then once we got the ground dry at about 4 o'clock, we ended up with, well, we can't actually harvest this thing that we've been asked to harvest. So, yeah, the day was kind of a big waste. Stop rolling. Go forwards again. And stop rolling. There we go. Okay, so that's full. I think right now we'll take this back to Oak Glen, and when we start next week, everything will be back at our main yard, and I may be looking at selling sheep, or we may have sold some of them. But, This week I am off work because Mrs. Osa's going to be in the hospital, so I'm going to be doing visiting and that sort of thing. So I don't know how much time I'll have to get stuff done at home. Unknown99, welcome to the chat. Unfortunately, you joined me just as I'm closing up for the day. So yeah, we should hopefully be back next week Saturday morning with another session on Oakfield Farm. And oh my goodness, we are making a complete hash of that turn. And the truck's in the way. Can we get through there? Yep, there's no fence there. Good. I think for right now, from Osa on Oakfield Farm, we're done for the weekend. Stop rolling! Good grief. So have a good weekend, have a good week, and for now I am out of here.